I think it's fine now. I think it's clear, right? طيب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على خير معلم الناس الخير سيدنا محمد. الحمد لله الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم، والصلاة والسلام على خير معلم الناس الخير سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. I am Bashar Al-Mishhadani. I'm a second year student in Islamic Finance, Master in Islamic Finance in Hamad bin Khalifa University. I'm a certified management accountant from the US as well, with BBA, Bachelor in Business Administration. I worked like in Canada in accounting, finance, financial statements, and all these things. I am here, to give an overview. Is it working or? Yeah. So this is our agenda. We're going to talk about the 10 principles of each knowledge, مبادئ العلوم أو مبادئ العلوم, about Islamic finance, Islamic economics, Islamic finance, an overview, roadmap for the branches of knowledge, social sciences. What are those social sciences? What is it required for the Islamic economics, and what is required for the Islamic finance? What are our roles or duties toward that? So I'm a person who believes in the classical knowledge, like in a classical text, taking the terminologies, taking the concepts from our heritage, from our Islamic heritage. And our scholars have put 10 principles for each science, like مبادئ العلوم 10, الحد والموضوع والثمرة, الواضع والاستمداد, حكم الشارع. 10 principles that you can apply to each knowledge, to each science. What I mean here in the word knowledge is al-ilm. Doesn't necessarily to be an applied knowledge, which is a scientific knowledge, but it can be a social science, it can be an applied science. So if we apply, so the principles are the had, al-haddu, not the name. Al-had in Arabic it means like you put a specification for the terminology, a specification for the certain terminology that will have inside all the meaning that is inside this knowledge and will prevent anything from entering the knowledge. Like the scholars will say it in Arabic, al-ta'rif al-jami' al-mani' or al-had al-wasif al-jami' al-mani', which will have all the meanings and will prevent any other meaning to enter to the terminology. So here the first thing is al-had. First thing is the name. Second thing is the definition, which is the had. Economics, from the capitalism or from the capitalist perspective, is all about managing the resources to get to maximize the benefit, to satisfy the human needs, and the human needs are unlimited or it cannot be counted. But in Islam, economics can be defined as science that manages the relationship between the resources and the human needs. That's it. Whatever you have resources on the earth, it's going to be managed by the science of economics. Why? To satisfy the human needs. And in Islam, we have necessities, we have needs. What I mean here, the needs here will mean the necessities and the needs and the enhancement, which is al-daruriyat, wal-hajiyat, wal-tahsiniyat. In Islam, we have a specific definition or a specific definition for it. And then why? What's the cause? Why we are managing the resources to satisfy our needs? Why do we want an economic development? Why? The why question is the most important question in Islam. Why I am here, what I'm doing in this life, why Allah created me, why I am worshiping Allah, why I am studying in the medical school, why I am studying in the engineering college, why I am doing economics, finance, business, whatever the question is. The why question is to help achieving the servitude to Allah Azza wa Jal, al-ubudiyya lillah Azza wa Jal, within the concept of stewardship, within the concept of you are being a stewardship, like the concept of khilafah upon the earth. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Before that, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal is not about the 5 pillars of Islam. Each action that you do to satisfy Allah Azza wa Jal, each action that Allah Azza wa Jal encouraged the human being to do is a kind of worshipping to Allah Azza wa Jal within the concept of stewardship. Why the stewardship? Because if you understand the concept of stewardship, you will understand that money in Islam, we don't own the money. It's a metaphor. When we say like owning something, al-milkiyah, owning something in Islam, You are not the absolute owner. That's why Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawm Ad-Din, وفي قراءة Maliki Yawm Ad-Din. It's Allah Azza wa Jal who is the absolute owner, who has the absolute ownership for everything. That's why when Allah Azza wa Jal talked about money in Islam, He said, spend from what I put you as a Khalifa. وَأَنفِقُوا مِنْ مَالِ اللَّهِ. Spend from the money of Allah Azza wa Jal. So in Islam, we don't have this concept of, there is the absolute ownership. In the capitalism, the capitalists, they said what they call it? They call it the حق التملك, the right to honor, the right to own something. In Islam, no, we don't have. It's a metaphor. Allah Azza wa Jal just gave us to test us. It's part of the big test. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, to test you. So it's part of the big test, owning something in Islam. Subject is the resources of the earth. What's the benefit upon this, الثمرة in Arabic? Managing the resources. What's the merit? What is the merit of studying medicine, for example? What is the merit of it? You are dealing with the most precious creature that Allah Azza wa Jal created, which is the human being. So you're dealing with him. So you're making sure that his pain will not distract him from worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the why question in Islam. And you can see it in our classical books. And the merit for this, it's a direct connection with the resources that Allah Azza wa Jal created. Allah Azza wa Jal created the earth with the resources just for us to benefit from it. So the capitalism, they have this pessimistic look about they say resources are scarce, right? They say resources are limited. Human beings, they have unlimited need. Resources are limited. This concept is not true, because Allah Azza wa Jal said He created the earth and bestowed or put in it enough resources for the human being to live in. So all these things, we see the pessimistic view about the economic is because the capitalist system or the capitalism is the one who is ruling the economic system. So each knowledge has a relationship with other, each science has a relation with other sciences. That's why مبادئ العلوم 10 الحد والموضوع والثمرة. One of them is النسبة. What is the nisbah? What is the relation between studying tafsir in Arabic language? How many of the Arabic language is related to studying tafsir? How many of the Arabic language is related to study economics? How many of the Arabic language is related to study medicine? There is a relation. That's why a language is very important to create an awareness. Okay? So what is the relationship? It has a direct relationship with other social sciences and applied sciences. Direct relationship. And direct relationship with the Sharia knowledge, with the Sharia as we are going to founder. Now, the founder now depends on the type. Here, what is the laser? No laser? This one. Each knowledge has a founder, and each knowledge has sources, derivations, sources that you derive the things from. Now, with social sciences, there are three things. There is the ideology, and there is the system that will apply the ideology, and there is the science, which will explain the phenomena that's happening in the society. Now, the ideology, who do you think is the founder of the ideology of the Islamic economics? Who's the founder? Huh? No. Who do you think is the founder? Who put certain ethics and certain values to deal with the earth? Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah Azza wa Jal gave the authority to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to legislate for us this. And there is the system, which is a set of laws, a set of admin duties, just to implement this ideology, to make sure that this ideology is implemented. And there is the science, which you explain any social phenomena that's happening. I don't know if you heard about the regression model, for example, in Excel, where you build models. So the model is to explain the phenomena. It's not to produce a new hukum or new judgments. And then there is the legal ruling. Everybody knows what's the collective duty, what is fard kifaya, what's fard ayn, and what's fard kifaya. Everybody knows. Okay, so fard ayn, which is it's obligatory upon the person. It's not going to be removed unless you do it, which is your salat, your zakat, your fasting, okay, your activity. Now, the merit here, it has a direct connection with the transactional fiqh al-mu'amalat. I'm going to go back to the slide of it. Direct relationship with the sources like fiqh, aqidah, and Islamic ethics. Founder, again, who's the founder? If we talk about the ideology, and there is a system and there is a science. Again, Allah Azza wa Jal authorized the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam to teach the people how to deal with money, how to deal with transactions, financial transactions. Fard Kifaya, the same. There is public finance, there is private finance, there is philanthropic finance, there is waqf, there is many topics in it. We go next one. Now I want a general categorization of the Sharia knowledge. Now, anybody think about the Sharia? Maybe we don't have a clear perception about what's Sharia, and having a judgment upon a thing is a part of its perception. الحكم على الشيء فرع عن تصوره. There is many categorization for Islam. Islam generally is about Aqidah and Sharia. Aqidah deals with the belief, Sharia deals with the actions. That's the general categorization of Islam. You have a general categorization for Sharia. Sharia knowledge mainly divided into three knowledges, three types. The first type, we call it علوم المصادر, which we call it الوحي. إنما أنذركم بالوحي. الوحي. أوتيت القرآن ومثله معه صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول. Allah Azza wa Jal revealed the Quran to me, and the Sunnah is part of revelation as well. What's the difference? Maybe we go out of the topic. Difference is the Quran is meaning and sayings from Allah Azza wa Jal. Sunnah is only the meaning from Allah Azza wa Jal. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam worded as he wants to explain the exact meaning. So any knowledge related to Quran, tafsir, tajweed, ulum al-Quran, qira'at, is related directly to the Quran. Any knowledge that's related to the Sunnah, which is seerah, fiqh al-hadith, anything, it's not 4, it's not 3. I just put examples here. Anything you can brainstorm that's related to the Quran is part of ulum al-masadir, the sources, and it's related to the Quran and the Sunnah. Now you have another type, which we call it the tools, ulum al-ala. If you seek a tool, you're not seeking the tool for the tool itself, right? If I want to pick a tool right now to cut my backyard garden, am I seeking the tool just like for the tool itself, just to own this tool, or to cut the garden, to cut the grass? To cut the grass. So we are not seeking this knowledge because of those usul al-fiqh, mustalah al-hadith, Arabic language, and Islamic logic are seeked to understand Quran and Sunnah more, or to protect Quran and Sunnah more. Usul al-fiqh are seek to know how we derive the hukum from Quran. Usul al-mustalah are seek to verify what is the hadith sahih and what is not. Arabic language, whether it's dealing with the end of the word, which we call it the أواخر الكلمة in Arabic, which we call it the nahu, or the middle, which we call it the sarf, or it deals with a sentence, which we call it al-balagha. There is also ilm al-wada'. Is seeked to understand Quran and Sunnah. And then Islamic logic is seeked to improve our way of thinking and our aqidah. Al-mantiq, ulum al-mantiq. And there are third type, aimed for itself. You are learning fiqh to know how to pray. You are learning fiqh to know fiqh al-ibadat, especially worshipping, to know how to purify yourself, how to fast, how to pay your zakah. And you have to learn your aqidah, because it's something that's your relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal. You have to know the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal, the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. And you have to understand some sort of Islamic ethics and some sort of, Islamic tazkiyah as well. Why? Because you're dealing with yourself. Again. Next, please. Deeper, I have a deeper view for the aimed sciences, which is the practical. So there is practical actions, which we call it fiqh. There is belief, which we call it aqidah, and there is purification, which we call it tazkiyah or ilm al-tasawwuf. The practical actions are dealt in, which we call al-fiqh. What is fiqh? العلم بالأحكام الشرعية العملية المستنبطة من أدلتها التفصيلية. The knowledge of the practical actions that is derived from its detailed evidences. You open any fiqh book, they differ in categorizing the like which one they start. Everybody will start with ibadat, and for ibadat they start with purification, prayer, zakah, fasting, pilgrimage, al-ayman wal-nudhur, oath and vows. Sometimes they put it here in ahwal al-shakhsiyah. This categorization here is based upon the Maliki madhab. Then second chapter of any fiqh book is mu'amalat, al-buyu', which is finance. Why do you think I put it in red here? Huh? It's our topic. Yeah. You open the third one, they say family law, then criminal laws and penalties, and then governance and public policy. Our scholars even they are يعني you call it in Arabic فنانين يعني they have dimagh in Egyptian, how to translate this يعني. They have this taste of why they categorize it. So they say, okay, we put the tahara first because you cannot start your ibadah without a tahara. You cannot start your salah. So they put the tahara and then the salah and then the pillars of Islam. They say after a person will do this, who's doing this? البالغ العاقل المكلف. Who's المكلف? البالغ العاقل. The one who is mature and who is beyond the age of puberty or the age of puberty. His fitra, his inner force, which is that's another topic, the fitra, will force him to do transaction, mu'amalat. Everybody is doing mu'amalat. Not only people in Islamic finance or not only the doctor is doing mu'amala. The engineer is doing a mu'amala. Why? Because the mu'amalat is the door for you to earn money, to survive. That's the instinct of survival. So they say after he will do his worship, he will do his mu'amalat. He will gain money. When he will gain money, his fitra will make him want to marry. So we're going to teach him how to marry, nikah, divorce, talaq, nafaqa. If there is dealing between any people, that's Ibn Khaldun also is talking about this. When there is dealing between people in transaction or in ahwal al-shakhsiyah, there will be dispute. So we're going to put the criminal laws, penalties, and hudud, and all these things for the judges. And then there is the governance and public law, which is siyasa, Shariah, judiciary, jihad, international relation. That's all part of the big picture of fiqh. Then you have a belief, which is believing in Allah, His name, attributes, angels, book, messenger, hereafter. 6 pillars of belief. And then you have the relationship with the others, which is Islamic ethics. And then the relationship with yourself, which is the purification of the inner diseases we have. And Allah, like the riya, al-kibr, al-ujb, al-ghadab, anger, pride, arrogance, and all these things. Now, what is why I'm like, what is does the revelation, which is the sources, which is the Quran and Sunnah, or al-wahi, does it relate to the current modern sciences? Because we've been taught in a secular system. The world right now is being ruled by secular powers. Whether you're in Qatar, whether you're in UAE, whether you're in Canada, whether you are in the US, in Australia, in Palestine, in Egypt, it's secular system. I'm not talking about governments here. I'm talking about we have been taught the knowledges and the sciences with the secular way, not within the Islamic way. Now the why questions. Our deen taught us, like, I will say it and help me in translating it. لو لم يكن لما لذهب الكلاب بالقلنسوة. Which means if you don't ask why, even the dogs will wear the amama and teach the knowledges. You have to ask the why. Why I am here, what I'm doing in this life, why I am learning. So you have, this is the Sharia, this is the revelation sources, this is what we talked about, tools, aimed, sources. Then you have 2 types of sciences generally, humanitarian sciences, natural sciences. This, sometimes they call it social sciences. Sometimes they make the social sciences a specific type of humanitarian sciences. That's what I chose here. And there is natural sciences. Natural sciences, practical sciences, applied sciences. Now, why do I want to study any of those from an Islamic perspective? What do you think? Yes. Good. Yeah. That's one part of it. Others? Why do you think you want to study medicine from an Islamic perspective, or dentistry, or engineer, civil engineer? Why do you want to study chemistry, IT, computer science? Why? Yes. That's part of it, but I want a deeper answer. Maybe it's not very clear even to me in computer science and IT, but let's think about the medicine. Let's think about civil engineer. Let's think about the, yes.
We can spend more.
I agree about the collective duty, about what Sultan's saying, but there is a deeper look.
Go back to stewardship and khilafah.
Stewardship, yes, you're close. Okay. Why do I want to study chemistry? What does it relate it? I'm making it clear. What does it relate it to the stewardship?
Somehow developing the earth.
Okay. Give me a specific answer. Chemistry. I'm saying chemistry or physics. Okay, Allah Azza wa Jal created the earth and put minerals in it. How do I know what Allah Azza wa Jal created in the earth?
Study
What if I want to know what is below, what is beneath the earth? Allah Azza wa Jal created this earth. What is beneath it? Geology. What is above it? Geography. I'm studying medicine. Why I'm studying medicine? Because Allah Azza wa Jal created the human being, the most precious creature to the human being. So I'm helping, within the role of stewardship, I'm helping the human being to survive, to give a human being a better life from, like, looking at it from the health perspective. Dentistry, pharmacy, nursery, same. Why do I have to study civil engineer or architect from an Islamic perspective? Why? It's clear now, I think. Umran al-ard, cultivating the earth, building the earth. So because the human being will need a place to live. When you have a house, you're satisfying your necessity. Having a house is a necessity or a need. Why? Because you're protecting yourself from being too cold. You're protecting yourself from being too hot, which a person can die because of coldness or because of hot weather. People can die. إن لك أن لا تجوع فيها ولا تعرى وإنك لا تظمأ فيها ولا تضحى. What does this ayah mean? That's the beauty of the Quran. Within a few words, Allah Azza wa Jal gave you the necessities. A necessity, anything that's not satisfied, will lead to the death of the human being. A need, anything that's not satisfied, will make the human being life hard. Necessity, food is a necessity. Drink is a necessity. If you don't satisfy it, sleep is a necessity. If you don't satisfy it, you're going to die. That's why owning a house is either a need, a very high owning. Now, living in a house is a need, not owning. You can rent. Okay? A need is if you don't satisfy it, there is a hardship. Can you live in Qatar without a car? You can. But there is a hardship? There is a hardship, yes. And then you have enhancement, which is either like, Imam al-Shatibi is saying the highest part of enhancement can become a necessity as well. Beautiful. Anyway, so why do I want to study mechanical engineer? I'm living in a society where people has to manufacture something. You have to manufacture something. We don't have to rely upon the US or the Canadians or the European or the Australian or the Chinese. Even the misbaha is made in China. Weapons, how to defend our society. Mechanical engineer or chemical engineer. Computer, lies the same. One of it, brainstorm. Why I'm studying computer? How can I help the ummah with the computer science and the IT? Same goes with the humanitarian sciences. The first 6 can be called social sciences, but مترادفات, it's okay. Politics, public policy, economics, finance, sociology, education, psychology. One important thing of a humanitarian science, if you don't have the minimum required knowledge in Sharia, then it's not recommended for people to study humanitarian science, because this has, in science, there is not the trilogy of ideology system in science. This trilogy does not exist in the natural science. It exists here. They're going to teach us economics or politics or sociology or education from the Western ideology. From the Western ideology. Like, I'll give you one example. They say حد الفقر. حد الفقر يعني ايش بالانجليزي؟ Not the minimum, حد الفقر يعني the poorness level. Poverty level, sorry. Poverty level. We don't have poverty level in Islam. We have the necessity level. Why are you telling me poverty level? In Islam should eradicate poverty. Don't tell me it's poverty level. And then you are exporting your ideas within the terminologies in these sciences. Yeah. This helps answer the right question. Yeah. I mean, do you find it the one? Do you find it interesting? This one? Is it adding value to? I hope so. Yeah. Go to the now. Social sciences, as I said, why it's not recommended for people not to have. I'm not saying he has to be a sheikh or a scholar, but at least he should have the bare minimum required about the Sharia knowledges before going to humanitarian science or to social sciences. Why? Because there is ideology, then you build the system. Your system is built to sustain and preserve and maintain the ideas of this ideology. And then you have the science, which is here, I don't mean it as natural science, which is calculation, measurement, theories. I don't mean it, no. The science, the word science, al-ilm, when you talk about natural sciences, is different from when you talk about al-ulum al-ijtima'iyya. It's different. Why? Natural sciences is based upon facts, calculation, measurement, assumption, facts. You have a disease in front of you, you have a mineral, you have a law, physical law. But in social sciences, it's very vague. It does not have this specific borders. That's why in Islam, Allah Azza wa Jal put a specific borders to us. They don't have a specific border. They don't know how to define what is right and wrong. They don't know what to define, what is halal, what is haram. He's like, why? I'm having a relationship with this girl. She's living with me. Khalas, when we are good, 5 years, we live together, then we get married. Why? Because their social sciences does not have a specific certain concept, specific certain values, specific certain terminology. In Islam, we have. It's not. We have part of social sciences that is black or white, fixed, firm, does not change. We have the system or the science is changing. So ideology is certain framework to derive concept, terminologies, values from. System is a set of rules that's built and designed to preserve the ideology. I'll tell you one example. يعني بالمثال يتضح المقال. Interest. I go to the bank. I want 100K from them. For them, interest is a value. Is an ethical value. Is an ideological value. Why? Because money is a commodity in the capitalist system. Money is a commodity. So for him, there is value. There is time value for money. If he want to give you money, he will have to earn something. He will have to earn the interest. So they built the entire system to preserve this small idea of interest or this small concept of interest. It's all based upon interest. Okay? There is no such a free term like a free lunch. That's an economic, right? There is no free lunch. But Islam is different. We have qard hasan. Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying, وَإِذَا حَضَرَ الْقِسْمَةَ أُولُو الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ فَارْزُقُوهُم. It means those people who are close, when they come to the inheritance division, if they come, they are close, but they will not inherit by the law. You have to give them. You are encouraged to give them. We have the concept of al-ariyah or al-ariyah. I borrow my car or I lend you my car. Why? I'm not the perfect owner of the car. It's a metaphor. Allah Azza wa Jal gave me money. I have a car. Now I am out of the country for 2 weeks. He doesn't have a car. I can give it to him so he can benefit from the benefit of the car. And then you have tools that are used to explain a certain phenomena. That's a bit technical, but in social sciences we have what we call the quantitative tools to analyze a certain phenomena, which they build model. Regression is one of them. RStudio, Stata, all of these things will fall into this category. The relationship is like, why I'm saying this, I'm talking about Islamic finance, because to me it doesn't make sense to only talk about Islamic finance and how to fix the Islamic finance, and you don't talk about that's my own opinion. I think this is the root cause of the problem. I cannot tell you, somebody having a cancer, I'll give you, okay, he have a fever, okay, give him a Panadol. It will erase the fever for a couple of hours, for 5 hours, for 6 hours. But what is the root cause of the fever? So social sciences, that's why I'm talking about, oh, now it's working, huh? Okay. You cannot teach any social science without teaching the other. They are very interrelated. Kind of similar to medicine and to sciences, chemistry, physics, geology, kind of similar. engineers, computer. Like you cannot. Why? Because okay, we are talking about Islamic economic or Islamic economy. Is it a theory? It's a theory, right? Who will implement the theory? Who will implement it? Any theory in any concept, who will implement the theory? Huh? Okay, us, yeah, part of it. Can we apply it alone? Yeah, no, as a society, as a group. Can we implement it alone? Mm-mm. We need a political system to adopt the theory. How the capitalism existed. You have Adam Smith. Who's the first one to write on it? Adam Smith. There is phases in the capitalism, but how it exists, because Europe adopted, and then US adopted, and then they conquered the world, and then they exported to us. Okay, so for any theory, any economic theory, social theory, educational, any theory, you will need a political system to implement it, and you will need a social system that will adopt it with its values, with its ethics. What will make me have a partnership with Muhammad or with Sultan? What will make me do that? Because there is a certain values that Allah Azza wa Jal encouraged us to do in. So you will need social sciences can be taught. For any theory, a political system is needed to implement it. Social system within a specific values, concept, and ethics is needed to adopt it. For this, an education system is needed to build an awareness. What do I mean by awareness? Is a knowledge with an ability to make change. Again, al-wa'i, صناعة الوعي, is a knowledge with an ability to make change. Okay, so that's why a lot of financial transaction right now does not make sense. Why it does not make sense? Because it's like a body. It's like a body without a soul, or it's like a soul without a body. It's a full system. Like the financial transaction is a soul that need an Islamic body to adopt it. You cannot make it work perfectly within the capitalist mindset. That's what I'm trying to do. That's technical for people who will study. They will understand me more maybe. Now, requirements. What is required to study Islamic economics and finance? So for sure, you will need to know the current existing economic theory and its origin. You will need to know the current application of the capitalism financial theories or financial transaction, because those the finance is based upon certain concepts that's derived from the capitalist mindset. Okay? Required knowledge within the Shariah, whether it's from the sources, tools, aim, aqidah. I don't mean the aqidah as like the usul al-aqidah, the principles of aqidah. You'll need to understand that the resources in the earth is enough for the people. It's not a matter of there is enough resources or not, as they are saying it, with this pessimistic view. There is not enough resources. No, it's a matter of distribution. Human needs are unlimited. No, that's limited. And we have different needs. There is necessity, there is need, there is enhancement. There is different. You will need also transactional fiqh, that's for sure. Fiqh al-mu'amalat, that's for sure. And usul al-fiqh, you will need to know what is usul al-fiqh at least. One part of the problem with the current existing Islamic banking sector is the people who are working in Islamic banks. I went to conferences. I haven't worked yet there. I went to conferences where non-Muslim people working in a very high level in Islamic banks. How do you want those people to translate the reality to the Sharia board, to the Sharia people to give the fatwa? It's like kind of similar when you go to the engineer college or medical college, there is common ground. People start with studying common ground together, right? Civil engineer, chemical, mechanical, they start something together, which is common. Also in the medical school, so that when the doctor is talking to the dentist or when the dentist is talking to the pharmacy guy, they need to understand, or the nurse, they need to understand themselves. So we need something similar in the Islamic financial sector, industry. People who are working in the banks or managing the banks need to have this required knowledge. Arabic language for sure, Islamic ethic, and for sure research methodologies, quantitative tools, and everything. Now, I think this is what everybody come here to expect. This is what you expected. This is Islamic finance. This is fiqh al-mu'amalat. Generally, there are 4 parts, which is exchange, buyu', whether it's a deferred sell, whether it's a current sell. So I'll ask a question here, just like I want to sell this one right now. Let's say I own it, okay? If I sell it to Muhammad, if I sell it now, it's 10 riyal. But he'll tell me I don't have 10 riyal. In 6 months I'll pay you. Can I tell him it's 15 riyal in 6 months? And it's 10 riyal now? What do you think? 10 riyal now if he pay cash. 15 riyal if he doesn't pay now. Yeah. Is it bay'? Is it exchange? Halal exchange or it's interest? Huh? Is it legal? Who is saying legal? Raise your hand. Is it halal?
No, it's like you're adding your profit or across
So
the time.
who is saying it's haram? Please raise your hand. There are people who are in between. It's 100% halal. Why? Because I'm selling a product here. I am selling a product here. The product worth 10 riyal now. I need the money now. I'm giving him the product to benefit from it. He will go, he will defend his proposal using it. He will defend his thesis using it. And it's a big issue when he defends his thesis, telling you. I'm giving him this product now, he will use the benefit now. I need the money now. If he tell me I don't have money, okay, I'm giving it to you. Then the price increases 15. It's أحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. The first one is bay'. What is riba? If I tell him, okay, Muhammad, or what's interest, usury? I tell him, okay, Muhammad, or okay, Sultan, I'll give you 10 riyal. You go to the market, buy a new one, okay, and return to me 15 riyal in 6 months. That's what is it halal or haram? The second, I lend him money, huh? I lend him money. He will go buy in the market seven. He will find 7 riyal actually. So I give him like 10 riyal. He will have 7 riyal. Spend it now. Keep 3 riyal for 6 months for him. He will invest it, and then in 6 months he will return 15 riyal to me. The 5 riyal I took in the second scenario, I took based upon money. That's interest. Money is not a commodity. I cannot lend money in Islam. Money can be, if I want to lend the money, then we call it donation, tabarru'at. Or we call it, or I can gift something, al-hibat. As long as it's exchange, it's buyu', there is a real product, then it's a different. I can increase the price. So buyu', gift, hibat, donations, tabarru'at, partnership, musharakat, guarantees, tawthiqat, which is al-dhaman and rahan, all these things. Yeah. Each one of those have many examples, but I didn't want to make it too technical in this presentation. Maybe if I present in our college, it will be a different idea, yes? Now, this is some of the current Islamic finance, which is murabaha, mudaraba, musharaka, ijara, wakala, salam, istisna', waqf, interest-free loans, sukuk. Now, again, the interest-free is not type of buyu', it's type of donations, or it's type of tabarru'at. Murabaha, mudaraba, yani, do you want me to explain details or khalas? I see people already tired. So what I want to say here, what's the most important thing here to me is all the fundamentals of those contracts are derived from the classical fiqh book, from the classical jurisprudence book. In the part of the main slide, we talked about the second or the third slide, transactional fiqh, fiqh al-mu'amalat. For example, I want to do mudaraba with Sultan. What is mudaraba? I give the money, I put my money, he give his expertise. He will become, inshallah, you said IT, right? He will a consultant, he will open his own company, but he will come to me, he's like Bashar or Muhammad. I have my expertise, but I don't have money. You're the money guy. Give me money. I tell him, okay, I give you money. This is 100K real. You open your company. Profit is, we agreed upon certain percentage. Profit on profit. 50-50, for example. 60-40, 70-30, whatever the case is, whatever we agreed upon. I give him the money. And then he will give me 50% out of the profit. He will tell me at the end of the year, this is the profit we made, like for example, 10,000 riyal. You have 5K, I have 5K. That's mudaraba. That's mudaraba. But then within the transaction, can I tell him, Sultan, if your company lose, then you have to guarantee me that you will give me back my 100K. Can I say this? Why? No. Okay, it's riba, but like why?
You should be partners in both profit and loss.
Partners in profit and loss, yeah. الغنم بالغرم والخراج بالضمان. That's, I forgot to put this in the presentation. That's a fiqh maxim role. Within fiqh, there is a subcategory under fiqh called fiqh maxim. القواعد الفقهية. قواعد الفقهية. In Islam, the principle is we share profit and loss. Anybody who, if I have something that I'm guaranteeing in my own as an asset, then I can benefit from it. Anyway, I cannot, yes, because it's riba, you're right, all of you. Why? Because the Prophet instructed us within the fundamentals in fiqh al-mu'amalat that the mudaraba contract is a trust contract. So as long as I'm trusting him to give him the money, to give him my 100K, I cannot tell him, brother, guarantee me the 100. If I do this, it's part of what? It's becoming a riba. And that's many applications, kind of applications. They are making, I call it Ahl al-Sabt. They are making, or Dr. Umar Abdul Kafi, he told me it's Beit Juha al-Tamwil, Juha House of Finance. They are trying to make a leeway to make the halal haram. Ijara, for example, ijara is owning the ownership of a benefit. I have a house, I have two houses. For example, I live in one, my Muslim brother doesn't have a house. Can you go back one slide? A Muslim brother has no house. I have a house. So I have many, choosing this, I have many options. Either I do exchange, ijara. Either I do exchange, if you have the money, I sell him, bay'. Bay' is part of exchange. Or I do another type of exchange, ijara. I give him the benefit of living in the house for him to give me money. Or if I'm so generous, I can gift it to him. Or I can do a donation. I can make it waqf, that this house is for people who are learning Quran. I make it a Quran school. I'm making a Maliki fiqh school. I make it a whatever. I make it a elementary school. Or I do a partnership. I ask another guy to come and buy half of the house so that I can benefit from half of the house. And for this I can get, yes, can you go? I think we finish. Our role or our duty, I put 4 points. It was 11 o'clock at night. It was Real Madrid playing Liverpool. I wanted to see the game. I'm a Liverpool fan. So, so I put those 4, but you can help me. You can give me feedback. You can improve upon this. Our role is different from one person to another. I'm doing Master in Islamic Finance. He's doing PhD. Our role toward that is different from Sultan, is different from anybody else who's studying engineer or studying. Depends on it. Give me the aim. Give me what's your goal. I give you what's your role. And then learn about Islamic economics and finance. Why? Because we will help to create the social system that we wanted, that will adapt those values. We will help to. And then help in creating awareness, knowledge, again. Use the current system, even if it has flow, still better than the conventional banks. We call it in Iraq, we have a saying, أعور بين العميان مفتح. A person who cannot see clearly is better than a blind person. That's how I explain, how I express Islamic banks currently. Yes, I think that's it, right? Yes, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate that. Thank you for joining me. Keep me in your dua. Jazakum Allah khair. I'm open if you have any questions. Took long? Is it record? Stop the recording. Jazakallah khair. Questions? Any questions? Yes.
As it differs from person to person.
Yeah.
Their level.
Mm.